Welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Um, Sunday edition. Obviously, we'll be going over the games for tomorrow. We have NFL, MLB. I think there's MLB, is there? Or actually, that might be the day off. There's NHL, NBA, NFL. Lots of sports going on for tomorrow. I haven't looked at the NBA. I don't know if you have, Bryant. I have went over the hockey card, what I like, and the standings. I showed them on the earlier show. We won't go over them now because they haven't been updated for Saturday's games. But we'll start by quickly going through the 5 hockey games that there are for tomorrow. Columbus, New Jersey is a pass for me right off the bat. Don't have really interest in getting involved with either of these teams right now. And the line, New Jersey's minus 185 favorites. So they're huge favorites in this game. And I don't really want to take Columbus, so that's ultimately a pass. Minnesota and Chicago. I will be on the Wild minus 1.5. Flower is obviously playing tomorrow, not today. So he'll be playing against Chicago. Chicago in Buffalo. Minnesota is in Detroit. Both teams on the second night of a back-to-back. But I like the Wild to take care of business in Chicago tomorrow with Flower and net. So Wild minus 1.5 for me. Rangers, Arizona. Shesterkin is playing today, so that means Halak will be starting tomorrow in Arizona. I kind of want to go with the over 6.5, but the Rangers' offense has been kind of inexistent as of late, scoring 2 or less in 4 straight losses. So unless they smash the Dallas this afternoon, which I hope not because I'm on Dallas, and the under. But I just don't like the Rangers' offense right now, so I don't want to take over 6.5. Yotes maybe plus 162 as an underdog against the Rangers. I don't know if I could do that, but that would be my consideration. Eileen, Winnipeg, Vegas. It'll be Vegas in regulation for me. This team is just playing well. I might have underestimated them a bit, but they've got off to a great start this season. My best bet yesterday, Vegas minus 1.5. That game ended 4-0. No sweat. So I like Vegas again here. Probably take them in regulation. And then Toronto, Anaheim, no play for me. The over 6.5 is like minus 138. So there's not even a good price on the over. So I won't be taking that. I don't want to back Anaheim. Toronto on a second night of a back-to-back. It'll be Eric Hallgren in net tomorrow because Samsonov playing today. So ultimately that game's a pass. So for me, tomorrow in hockey, Wild minus 1.5, Vegas in regulation. Bryant, anything for hockey tomorrow?
I have not taken a single look at hockey for tomorrow. So I've got nothing. I will maybe I'll take a look at it tomorrow morning and see how I feel. Tomorrow's NFL Sunday. And we'll have some NBA. I think the NBA slate's actually pretty big since it's relatively or not relatively big, but there'll be a few more games than there are today. Let me just double check just to make sure. Um, but uh but yeah, I got nothing
Yeah,
in.
there's 8 games.
Yeah, there's 8 games tomorrow. Between that and NFL, I probably won't touch hockey unless it's like just one like play that just jumps out. But other than that, it's just gonna be football and basketball for me tomorrow. So
Hey, nothing wrong with that. It's football and hockey for me, football and basketball for you. It works out good. We'll go to the first game of the football slate, and we have Sunday morning football. The Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars in this one. You can get Denver plus 105 to plus 120, Jacksonville minus 130 to minus 140, 2.5s and twos, 40.5s right across the board. So I don't want to start off with a rumor, but there is a heavy rumor going around that Nathaniel Hackett will be fired if the Denver Broncos lose this game. Do you think the players are going to be motivated to win this game with that rumor going around? I'm sure they want this guy gone. He's absolutely awful. He is, I think, the worst NFL coach in the NFL right now. I refuse to back Denver with him leading this team. Jacksonville on the other side. Trevor Lawrence won his debut game last year in London. for Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a strong fan base in London, and I just think it's a good spot for them here. They have the better offense than the Broncos. The Broncos a slightly better defense, but Jacksonville's defense has played well this year as well. So for me, I like the Jags here, minus two, minus 2.5, to get the win here Sunday morning in London. Bryant, Broncos, Jaguars. What do you think about Nathaniel Hackett, and what do you think about this game?
Uh, well, Hackett it's crazy because I distinctly remember there were a few like writers and stuff. I'm a writer myself, but there's a guy that I follow on Twitter, and he covered the Broncos, and like he was so adamant that Hackett was a better hire than some of the other names out there. And I remember people were suggesting Dan Quinn, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, for the job and stuff, and he was like, "I can't believe why would they hire him? Why would they hire him?" Dan Quinn is now on year 2 of leading a phenomenal defense in Dallas. He's got the respect of everyone. He's going to be at the top of a lot of people's list to get a head coaching gig. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, you were so sure that Hackett, who's never been a head coach in the NFL, was going to be good in the NFL, despite the fact that Dan Quinn has, I know he was unsuccessful, but he also was the leader of that Falcons team, or he was the defensive coordinator on the Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl. So like he has experience and knows how to win games and has understood that whole gamut of things. And it was just funny. I don't think he's that great, but I also don't think he's as horrible as he is. I think the moment's just too big. It's very big for him, and another stint maybe in a couple of years might do him some justice. But they had a lot of expectations getting Russ. If they didn't sign Russ, I don't think anyone cares about Hackett. This isn't being blown up, right? But you take the Russ thing in a component, and then you take this, it's just not going well. And so because of that, I have the Jaguars winning tomorrow. Doug Peterson is a very good coach. He's a very stable coach. He's done this before. And I think that there's in the NFL, I think there's real validity in like backing teams with like motivations and momentum and the mojo around the teams itself. I think that matters because these guys are their egos involved, and the egos can take you in and out of games in a heartbeat. Which is why, for example, the Bucks aren't playing their best, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you got the constant circus around Tom Brady. Is he retiring? Is this man getting a divorce? Like all the crap, like stuff that is not pertinent. But like your leader, your absolute leader, has a bunch of crap going on, and they have injuries to boot on top of that. It's just not good. So I'm looking to back the Jaguars tomorrow. I think that they win the game. I'll probably put them in a money line parlay, or I might just take the first half and get it in and get it out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at a plus 50,000 bet for Tom Brady's next girlfriend to be Zach Wilson's mom. So that's plus 50,000. That might have to be a 1,000 unit whale play. No, I'm kidding. But no, that's pretty funny that they had those out. So yeah, everybody knows about the Tom Brady stuff going on. So yeah, it's definitely affecting them. One bet I forgot to give out here. So I am on Jacksonville -2, -2.5. Haven't placed the bet yet. Waiting on lines. Lines are moving kind of in my favor in some games, so I'm not pulling the trigger until later tonight on these games. But I will be on Jacksonville, and I will be on Patterson over 1.5 field goals made, which you can get for plus 110 for the Jaguars. Because of the defenses in both these teams, the Broncos have a good defense. They're going to be able to stop the Jaguars, and the Jaguars will most likely get some field goals. So I just need two to cash a plus 110 for Patterson over 1.5 field goals for the Jags, and then Jags -2 or -2.5 in the morning game of the NFL. Going on to the early games, the set we have here. Um, right off the bat, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, pass. Pass. I don't want any part in that game. Obviously, Phillies -450 favorites, -10.5 on the spread. I just don't really want to take that with much better games on the board, in my opinion. New England and New York Jets. The Jets have struggled against New England for years and years and years. This Jets team does not like to face New England whatsoever. Does that finally end? I want to bet the Jets plus. I see Jets +3 right now. If that is 3.5 tonight or tomorrow, I'll be taking it for sure. I do think New England's going to want to bounce back, and this has been a good team for them to face in the past. But the Jets are different this year, so I want to back the Jets in some fashion. But uh, it's just New England is their kryptonite. So can they get over that? We'll see. Carolina, Atlanta, pass again. um, two bums facing each other. I just don't want to get involved, so it's a pass. Vegas, New Orleans. I am looking at the Las Vegas Raiders on the money line. You can get it for -116. I want to back the Raiders here. Um, they've been running the ball a little bit more, having some success as of late in the last few games. New Orleans running defense, rushing defense isn't as good as it's been in the past. So they're a little bit susceptible to the run. So Vegas, I think, will win that game. Chicago and Bryant's Dallas Cowboys pass again. Um, Chicago got their Super Bowl win last week with what will probably be their best game of the season, and now they head to Dallas, and I don't think it's a good spot for them whatsoever. But I don't really want to take Dallas -9.5. So basically nothing really in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, Detroit. That is another pass for me. I think Miami probably wins it, but I don't really want to get involved. So that's ultimately a pass. And Arizona, Minnesota. No big surprise here. I'm taking the Vikings. Moving down now, you can find -3. So if there's more -3s available, I'll be taking that. I'll also have Vikings money line in a parlay with some other teams. Um, Vikings have an extra week, obviously with the bye to prepare for this game. Arizona playing better, yes, but I like the Vikings to get the win here and cover the spread, especially if it is 3. I think they win by um, probably approximately anywhere from 4 to 7 in this one. Bryant, early games, the 1 p.m. Eastern games. What do you think about these ones?
Yeah. This Pitt Philadelphia game, I think this might be one of those games where the game is entirely very much close at the start. I could see. Oh, nice.
Dallas. Yeah, I'm on Dallas, so that's awesome.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I also have him on Dallas now I think about it. It was one of the one plays I did. I had the Stars and um uh, I had the Kings team total over today playing against the Leafs. But anyway, um I think Pitt fights. I think that they fight pretty hard in the beginning of this game. That defense finds a way to just hold the line. It's going to be an ugly game. It's a rivalry game. That place is going to be jam packed with people just from Pennsylvania. It's a state game for them, right? And you got two passionate fan bases. I like Pitt in the first half. I would maybe sprinkle like a little something on just on Pitt money line just cause. I mean, the Eagles are -550. The Eagles are good, man, but they are not that good. That's like giving like some like Brady prime Brady Pats level like love, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. Um, so that's how I feel about that. I had like the over. I had the over, and I like the Jets to win this game. 4 of the last 5 games for the Pats have gone over the total. They've put up 24 points in those games as well. So basically, at that point, we need 15, 16 points from the Jets. If assuming that the Jets lose, but I think that this game can go over 39 points. I think I could definitely see at least 20 apiece from each side, somewhere in like the 24, 20, 21 range at the end of the game, something of that nature. I like those are my plays there. Carolina and Atlanta, both of these teams are battling for first place. That is not a joke. That's literally not a joke. Um, I, I I don't. I'm cool with whoever wins this game from a fan perspective, because if Dallas doesn't win the division, we will go and travel and play one of these teams in their in on their field, and I feel very good about that. So who I'm rooting for, whoever can keep the Bucks from winning this division. If the Bucks don't win this division, that takes a huge chunk out of obstacles for whoever. I like Atlanta here though. I just think they have a little bit more to offer in terms of defensively, and I think that offensively their weapons kind of gel a little bit better than Carolina's. PJ Walker is PJ Walker. I don't think he's all that great, but he's not done anything bad. He's basically played the same level, minus some of the turnovers that they got from Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and whoever else that they've thrown under there. So it's a net zero, I guess. And I'll take the home team in that scenario. LV, New Orleans. You and I were talking about this before the show. Outright, I've got the Raiders to win the game, minus 125. I think that's a good value for these two teams. I just don't trust New Orleans as a whole right now. I'd be grateful if Alvin Kamara decides that he wants to show up for fantasy purposes. In my dynasty league, I need him desperately. But I think Las Vegas just has a little bit more to offer from an offensive and a defensive standpoint. They obviously have the pass rush. The Saints just don't have a quarterback that you can really and truly and honestly depend on. I know everyone talks about, well, they've got this and they've got that. And I'm like, eventually it comes a time where your quarterback just has to show up. He has to win you some games. That's just the way the NFL works nowadays. Your quarterback has to win you games. And I don't see it from them. And I trust Derek Carr a little bit more in that regard. And so, and then Chicago and Dallas, I'm actually going to be at that game. So that's going to be fun. But for me personally, I was iffy on Dallas -9 just because this feels like one of those weird games against a team that Dallas probably should. It's giving me the vibes that we had last year against the Broncos when the Broncos came in there and just dog walked us. I don't think that happens again this year. But I'm not willing to bet -9. Spoiler alert, my best bet is going to be CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown scorer and Dallas to win the game. Got it at plus 125 on my book. I'm sure you can get something similar somewhere else. I think CD benefits from having another week of Dak. His starting quarterback back in action. They started getting the connection going last week as well. And I think Dallas passes the ball a little bit more as well. If they do that, they can completely kind of take what the Bears want to do offensively, which is run the ball. You can take them completely out the game. So maybe like a first half spread pick or first half team total for Dallas would really help because you basically eliminate the Bears' ability to stay in this game if you can pass and get up by 14, 17 points early. Because then they'll be forced to throw the ball, and I don't think they want to throw the ball that much with Justin Fields. And you then set up Dallas to be who they are, and that's to get after the quarterback. Alex Leatherwood, the old Raiders lineman that got drafted a couple years ago in the first round, he is making his appearance, and Riley Reef is also starting as well. There are two new tackles going up against one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. So if you can get a sack prop on Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, whoever, and then also thank you for that. That was my last point. Zeke is out. He's not playing. They called him Malik Davis, so maybe he might be a guy to get up in fantasy. And Tony Pollard is going to get a lot of touches tomorrow, whether it's passing, catching, or passing and receiving the ball and rushing the ball as well. So those are some prop ideas. If you have any questions about that, feel free to shoot me a message. I've got quite a few props in the game since I won't be going too heavy on the sides. And then Miami, Detroit, I'm passing. Just that's No, I have no good read on that.
So many better games on the board.
Yes,
They're
100%.
not like so many other better.
There's so many better games on the board between the NFL and the NBA tomorrow that I'm just not going to force that. And I got Arizona and Minnesota. I've got the over there. Minnesota had a week off, refreshed themselves, really get into studying the Cardinals. Cardinals coming off of Sunday night football, or not Sunday night, but Thursday night. And ultimately, I just see points here. I don't think that the Minnesota defense is superb. I think that they can be had. And I think ultimately really just boils down to the fact that I don't trust the Cardinals defense at all. I think I could see 35, 38 points from the Vikings. And at that point, you really just need a couple touchdowns or some field goals from the Cardinals, and we're good at over 49. I could definitely see this being like a 31-25, 31-24 type of game. But yeah, I like the over here. Let's just ride that and root for points.
All right. Next up, BetStamp. Use code WILD in the referral code section. Obviously, do your line shopping. Find the best odds. You can follow me there at Let's Go Wild Picks. We'll move on to the afternoon games. There is 4 here. And this one, it doesn't. The Rangers just tied it up against Dallas. Boo. It's not good, but live betting alert. That kind of sucks. But going on to these games here, Tennessee and Houston. One of my favorite games of the night, or one of my favorite games of the day tomorrow. Tennessee, 4 wins in a row, heading to Houston, 1-4-1 or 1-5-1, I believe, on the year. Houston, and they are the 5th worst team when it comes to stopping the run. And they have Derrick Henry coming in, who has lit them up time after time. And this Tennessee team, minus 125, I believe, is the best odds you can find for them. I'll be on Tennessee, and I will be on Derrick Henry rushing yards over. I think he gives Houston a lot of trouble tomorrow, and the Titans win this one against Houston. Titans obviously going for that division, and this would be another step forward to help them in that goal. So I like the Titans here. I think they'll be more motivated, and I don't think Houston's going to be able to stop Derrick Henry. Going on to the second game, Washington and Indianapolis. If you've watched the show at all this year, you know my feelings on both of these teams, Washington and Indianapolis. Bums. And I have no intention of going anywhere near this game. Can both teams lose? Watch, it'll be a tie. This game will finish in a tie. Like 10-10, boring, ugly game. So maybe you would want to look at the under, but I'm not touching this game whatsoever. San Francisco and the Rams. I am taking San Francisco as an underdog here. They've had a lot of success against this Rams team in the regular season for a long time. I was against the Rams last week. I was against San Francisco last week, but was ready to back them this week. And that's what I'm going to do here against the Rams, who are just a mess. The Rams are a mess, and San Francisco knows how to beat them, at least in the regular season.
Yeah.
And then the New York Giants and Seattle Seahawks. Once again, the New York Giants are underdogs for whatever reason. Plus 145 for the Giants on the money line. You can get plus 3.5 at minus 118 in some spots. I don't quite understand it. I get it. The Giants are overperforming and winning games that they shouldn't be, but they continue to do it over and over and over again, is win these games. So for me, I'm on the Giants. If it's a trap, it's a trap. But I think they're clearly the better team, and they have better coaching. So even against Pete Carroll there, but I think this is a Giant spot to keep on rolling here in Seattle. Bryant, the afternoon games, these 4, what do you think?
One, I just want to interject with a couple things. To anyone that bet college football, I can't believe they gave Oklahoma minus 1.5 against Iowa State. Iowa State has not beaten Oklahoma. They've played 85 times in their entire career or in their entire existence, and Oklahoma has won 78 of the games. And they gave us -1.5. Insane. Anyway, Oklahoma's up 20-6. So if you bet the Sooners, we're coasting right now. But also, Tom Pelissero, big NFL reporter, basically just confirmed that Ryan Tannehill is out tomorrow. He's sick, and the ankle is still bothering him. And he's not practiced at all this week, which was always the big indicator if the guy's going to play or not. So I am 100% going to get that pick in for Houston as money line tomorrow. I think there's value on Derrick Henry rushing props because of his historical evidence against the Texans. But you start a rookie quarterback and you tell an NFL team that you absolutely know what's coming. They're going to run the ball, whether it's with Malik Willis, who's a dual threat quarterback. He can run the ball as well. So that adds a different element to it. And I also think because of the running game that you're going to see in this, I think there's value in the under. That clock is going to be running a lot as long as Tennessee has the ball, because they're going to be running the ball quite a bit. So that's just going to just drain the clock down. I'm not sure what the line was set at, but if it's anywhere north, where we at?
40 and a half.
40 and a half. Yeah, I'm willing to go ahead and go after that. I'm down to go ahead and take the under there, because even if you want to fade the Texans, because you just don't think that they can score enough, that's fine too, because they're going to try to run the ball as well. So those are my personal plays there. I like the Texans money line and I like the under. We got Washington and Indiana. I think Washington wins this game. Sam Ehlinger is starting for the first time. He's a former Texas quarterback, so I will be rooting on his downfall anyway. They are Oklahoma's biggest rival. I know what the kid is about. Taylor Heineke has won games in the NFL as is. And ultimately, I think that they're just the better team right now, right? Shaq Leonard's not playing. They benched Matt Ryan. Yes, you got Jonathan Taylor back, but again, it's a situation just like with the Titans. You're starting a new quarterback, and on top of that, you're going up against a team that knows that, okay, we're starting a new quarterback, so we're going to want to run the ball. And I think that Washington just has enough playmakers offensively to get it done. So I am actually I'm gonna do something a little differently there. I'm gonna take Washington to cover in the first half, and I think I'm gonna just double up and get Washington full game on the money line as well. Kind of save my butt. So if they come out slow and aren't to the punch, I think this is gonna be a slow game at the beginning, because you do have a rookie quarterback, and then you have a quarterback that's so. But it gives you a little bit of a cushion at half. And then I think that's when the teams separate, when the game gets a little close. If it is close in the third and fourth quarter, I like Washington to figure out a way to win this game. So that's where I'm at with this. Rams 49ers is probably the hardest game I've had to cap this week. This game means a lot for both teams. You and I were talking about this, Terry, before. The NFC West is basically separated by a single game. Seattle, who plays in the next game that I'll discuss, they are at the tops of the division with 3 losses. And the Cardinals, who play the Vikings that we've already talked about, they're at the bottom of the division with 4 losses. So really a game that's not including divisional records separates them. This game means a lot. And it's in LA. We know San Fran travels. They're one of the best fan bases in the entire NFL. They're going to travel deep. This is basically going to be a home game for them, because no LA team has a home field advantage in their own stadium, whether it's the Chargers or the Rams. Depending on who they're playing, they don't have an advantage. And I like the Rams. I think the Rams they caught Pat Mahomes on a get right game, and you and I called that. I mean, absolutely to a T. We said what would happen in that Rams 49ers game, and it happened. I made money off of that -6.5 play. They blew them out. I think that the Rams are are in a bad spot with the offensive line. You've got a kind of revitalized 49ers team with Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to be looking at some props with him, largely because I think that he's now had a week or so to go through practice. He made it. He made a pretty good impact last week, honestly. Had some yards, made some plays in the game, and I think this is where it's kind of a season-defining moment for either team, because the Rams are kind of they're flailing right now, and the 49ers are getting like Super Bowl contender love, but are like middle of the road in a lot of different things. So it's going to be a close game. Hold on, let me pull up my slip for this particular game. So the over is set at 42. I tend to believe that that is going to go over, but I am going to take it a step further. And the only thing that I'm thinking about playing is I think the Rams, or not the Rams, but the 49ers come out hot. And I'm going with the minus a half first quarter for the 49ers. And it was plus 115. It'll probably drop to about plus 105 as long as there's not like too much crazy movement on it between now and the start of the game tomorrow. It's the 4 p.m. America's Game of the Week game, so you got time. But that's personally what I'm going to. I feel strongly about it, and ultimately I think San Fran wins. But there's enough variance that I won't play the full game. So I'll take the over, and I will take San Fran to come out early and get on top. Um, Lastly, we got the Giants in Seattle. I was just talking about Seattle being the front of their division. I don't think that lasts, because I do think that San Fran and LA finds a way to win this division. I want Seattle to win, though, for what I mentioned earlier about the Cowboys' playoff hopes. But I got the Giants winning this game. As much as a hater I am of that team, um, they keep finding ways to win games, and you're getting favorable prices with them. So you got to eliminate your heart and think about money. You're trying to make money here, right? And so I'm getting good value with the team that just keeps finding ways to win games, despite it not being sexy. I'm not going to overthink this, and I'm going to take the Giants on the money line, and I'll take the security blanket and get the +3 as well. But yeah, I like the Giants here. I just think that the coaching staff that they've got right now has got them playing so well. And obviously, Pete Carroll's done a good job with this Seattle team, but that secondary is garbage. And Dayball is going to find ways to get Saquon the ball, and ultimately, he's the best player on the field. Pretty much, kind of where the line is drawn in the sand. And so, I think that because of that, the Giants will figure out a way to either keep it close or just outright win. So those are my plays.
All right. We'll move on to Sunday Night Football, and then we'll get to other picks section. I don't really have anything else. I went over my NHL. Brian, I think you might have some NBA, but we'll get to that after we go over Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers and the Buffalo Bills. The Packers are in trouble. They're floundering right now. And I would be lying as a Vikings fan if I said I wasn't happy to see that. They've had their time in the sun winning the division the last few years, but their time is over. They're heading to Buffalo to face Josh Allen and the Bills. Um, and I would love to take Buffalo in this spot. However, they're -10.5 favorites, -480 on the money line. So it's tough to back them without taking the points. But there was one thing that stood out right away to me in this game: Stephon Diggs. I'm taking him to get a touchdown, and I'm taking Stephon Diggs to hit his receiving props here. Um, Obviously, as a former Viking, he doesn't he has disdain for the Green Bay Packers. That rivalry just doesn't disappear because you get traded away. He's definitely wants to show up here on Sunday Night Football in prime time, so you can get Diggs anytime touchdown, anywhere from -105 to +105, or sorry, -125 to +105, and then his receiving yards 81 and a half, basically -115 in most spots, -120. So I like Diggs to really have a good game here against the Packers. Anytime touchdown and receiving yards over. Bryant, are you there?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
was I was looking at I was looking at some game props for the Buffalo Bills game. I don't have any desire to play any of the traditional stuff, not the sides, not the spreads. I think that the Bills are going to drub them. I don't think it's going to be pretty, or it's not going to be nice at all. But I like to in situations like this. I want to eliminate the variance of the possibility that Aaron Rodgers taps into some sort of like God mode again for one random game. And I think that I'm just going to put my money on Josh Allen and that offense. And I saw right here, I was browsing while you were talking, but I saw I can get um, I can get Josh Allen 277 passing yards or more, and Devin Singletary 56 rushing yards or more at plus 225. And I very much like that. And I also like Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers over 275 passing yards each. I could see the Bills go up early and Aaron Rodgers just kind of sling his way around trying to make it competitive or at least try to get back into the game. I like both of those plays, and that's something that I'm going to be looking at. If I had to make a traditional play, if if
Hey, he's telling the truth. So
yeah.
Cheshire's telling the truth. So it is what it is.
um, if I had to make a traditional play in this game, I would just simply go with the Bills um team total, first half team total. I think it was set at 17 and a half. I think that goes over. Uh the Packers are missing some guys on defense that really matter. And then Alan Lazard is out. Alan Lazard is out. Yeah, and then to this point, I'll chime in a little bit on this. Um, my thing with the Eagles, and I'll eliminate my Cowboys fandom in this. My thing is they run an offense that is very specific, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of gimmicky by NFL standards. And um, in some of their games they've played, teams have been competitive with them. Um, I mean, the Cowboys were competitive with them. We have a good defense, but we were competitive with them. And Cooper Rush threw three. He had three turnovers in the game. So that offense, despite everyone saying that they moved the ball downfield, they did, but it was only 183 total yards. I just don't think they are offensively as good as people making out to be. I think that their defense is excellent. Very, very, very good defense. But my thing is, what happens when they face a little bit of adversity this season? Like they lose a game. I don't think they're going to win. They're going to win every single game they play. What happens if they win one or they lose one? Are they going to spiral out of control or do they bounce back? Like we don't really know how this works, right? And for a second year head coach involved as well, I struggle to believe that they maintain winning games the way that they have. It's a formula, but what happens if someone disrupts that formula and you go down 21 points to a team with weapons and someone that knows how to win? Like they go down 21 to I don't even know who you would use in the NFC because it feels like there's like no one there outside of a couple other teams. But what happens if they get down 21-0? Can they throw themselves back into the game? And yeah, they did it against the Lions, but it's the Lions, right? Like no one's using it as a barometer of how good you are. So those are my only questions. It remains to be seen. They'll face a good defense tomorrow in Pittsburgh. I just don't know if Pittsburgh has the offense, but who knows?
Yeah, if you want to talk about spiraling out of control, if they were to lose to Pittsburgh tomorrow, that could really, I think, affect their psyche and overall thoughts because that's a game they definitely shouldn't lose. But this is the comment we're talking about. What are weaknesses for the front running teams?
I think
Um,
I think a lot of the front running teams, um, notably like the Chiefs and the Bills. Um, I think a lot of it is just is figuring out consistency on defense. Because sometimes some of these teams they show up and like for example, the Chiefs last week went up against the 49ers and they got kind of smacked them out in the mouth a little bit. And Pat Mahomes decided, okay, all right, I got to take it serious today, and he dug them out, and they found a way to win, and they got up um and they won games. But I think it's always defense is a thing. Year to year, you can't really project it, right? Because there's always regression and there's statistical elements that prove that. And if you want to have a conversation outside of here, I can show you. But there's generally regression on defense from year to year. So not really sure how that matches up in the playoffs, which is why you stack up so much on offense and hope that you have a great quarterback that can just win you games uh, despite your defense's play. So
I'm assuming Richie's talking about the Dallas and Rangers game.
I would assume so.
Rangers is possession on the power play. Oh no, I think they might have just scored, but that would really suck. But um, yeah, we'll move on along. Other picks for tomorrow's games. I already went over hockey. I went over NFL. I don't have any NBA yet. I'll be honest, haven't really been looking at over that much, and there's no lines for tomorrow's games either at the moment. So, Brian, I guess it's kind of hard for you to give out picks if there's no lines, but are there any teams that you're kind of looking at tomorrow that you might like?
For the NBA,
Yeah. Or any
uh,
other picks? Yeah.
yeah. No, I wouldn't. I don't want to say anything until I got lines and whatnot for tomorrow. Um, I'll wait. I generally try to cap like the night before with basketball. But until we kind of see what kind of unfolds, I don't really have anything per se. Again, I think one of your viewers actually kind of hit me up via direct message a couple days ago. I wasn't on the show, but we talked a little basketball and we shared picks. I'm more than willing to do that tomorrow as well. Yeah, just hit me. I'll probably have something in every game, if not like 6 of the 8 games tomorrow. Oh, that's not good.
Oh, is that? Oh, Dallas got another penalty. That's what happened on that.
But anyway, yeah, so that's my we're in a group chat, Jessire. Like we are literally, so you don't even have to do that. You can just ask me. But anyway, yeah, I'll have something in probably about 6 of the 8 games tomorrow. I will say this though, that points, rebounds, and assists with Paolo Banchero, just money. I've cashed like I think almost every game with the exception of one. He just fills the stat sheet up. He's getting points. Yesterday it was set at like over 32 and a half points, rebounds, and assists, and he ended with like 41. He had like 30, like 20 some odd point or 30 some odd points, 9 rebounds, like 5 assists. It's a moneymaker, and I'm gonna keep going to it as long as it keeps making me money. And yeah, I hope you guys got your Paolo future tickets in for Rookie of the Year. I'm looking forward to cashing that in like June. So that's about it.
All right. Yeah, if you want to find me or Bryant or anybody else that appears on the show, all of the links to our YouTube's, all of our links to our Twitters are in the description below. So make sure to give everybody follow. We'll go to the best bet segment here. Obviously, not as many bets here on the weekend that we have during the week, but we did have some that from other people that were sent in. For me, no total for tomorrow. Nothing that really stands out on the total department that I like, so I'm not betting any at the current moment. Nick is taking New England New York Jets under 40 and a half. Tim is taking New England Patriots team total under 20 and a half. And Ryan is going with Vegas and New Orleans over 49 and a half. Bryant, is there a total on tomorrow's slate that you like?
Yeah, I am going with the over in Vikings Cardinals. I feel pretty strongly about it, and I have locked it in already. So I'll say go Vikings because I trust their offense a little bit more. But I just
Sounds
need
good to
points.
me.
Yeah.
49 minus 107.
Yeah.
All right. Going on along to dog of the day for tomorrow. I'm on two dogs, San Francisco and the New York Giants, but I'll take the New York Giants at plus 145. Nick is also taking the Giants plus 145. And Tim and you as well, Bryant, you're both going Houston Texans.
Yeah.
So two of us on the Giants, two of us on Texans. Dog of the day. And then going on to best bets for tomorrow. I like a lot about football, but I really like the wild game with Flurry starting tomorrow. Um, Minnesota minus 1.5 in Chicago against the Blackhawks tomorrow with Flower and Net plus 132. Nick is going with Denver Broncos money line plus 120. Tim is going with Dallas Cowboys minus 9.5, minus 110. Ryan is going with Winnipeg and Vegas under 6, plus 100. And Brian, you are going as CeeDee Lamb, anytime touchdown, and Dallas to win, plus 125.
Yep.
Do I get a spot on the spreadsheet? How does one get on there?
Blood sacrifice.
Yeah, you just have to come on the show sometime, Cheshire, and make an appearance. And then, yeah, you could definitely get on the record. And we do show the record at the beginning of every show. Obviously, I didn't today because it hasn't been updated. But yeah, we go over the record, complete transparency here. Yeah, but that is today's show. Thanks to the new viewers watching today. Thanks to everybody for watching in general. This is our show for tomorrow's games. There won't be a show tomorrow, but we'll be back Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, as we usually are. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, smash the like button. We appreciate all the support. And we'll see you again Monday, for another episode. Getting Well with Terry and Friends. Best of luck, guys. Have a good one.